Let's talk about race communism in the wake of this horrible, horrible murder that we've all been talking about, dwelling on, angry about all week. Young Ukrainian woman on a train gets slaughtered by some savage who should have been locked in a cage a long time ago. And of course, when he got up, audio's a little rough, but you can hear it. After he had gotten done shoving a knife into her throat 3 times, he got up and he said this. So let's talk. Let's have an honest, possibly offensive talk about why there are so many of these stories where you have a black criminal attacking a white person, oftentimes killing. Why does it happen so often? And then they say things like that. So let's discuss race communism. There are several different ways communists attempt to destroy a society. Several different communist branches. In America, as we've noted several times before, they all want the same thing. They all have the same goal, the destruction of the country. They just have different branding. You know, there's the feminism, there's the LGBTQ demon mob stuff, there's, and of course, climate, but race communism. Why is that so successful? Well, here's the truth of it. Race communism is the easiest one to sell. The easiest one to sell. It always has been. American race communism, don't think for a moment it's unique. Mao used this extensively. They used it in the Soviet Union. This is all the way back, every communist revolution. They understand how easy the sell is. Hey, you, everyone who looks like you've been oppressed. By who? By them. And if you give me power, I will hurt them for you. It's an easy sell. And angry people, bitter people, stupid people, they gobble it up oftentimes and they march forward. Here in the United States of America, don't ever forget this, the Soviet Union, back when it existed, they infiltrated the civil rights movement in the United States of America because they recognized exactly what I just said, that they had an opportunity to tear this country apart from the inside, infiltrate that movement, take it from wanting equal rights for everybody, turn it into some white grievance movement where, you got to go kill whitey, and then it can go a long way to breaking up the United States of America. That was done to us, and it was done to us on purpose. It wasn't an accident. Now, fast forward to where we are today, because it's gotten to a terrible, terrible place. Why does this happen over and over and over and over again? That story out of Charlotte is one story of so many. It happens because Democrats are communists who push this stuff all the time. All the time. From Joe Biden standing in front of a room full of black people telling them Republicans want to put them back in chains, from the American media doing everything they can to cover for a black criminal whenever a black criminal commits a crime, and the endless browbeating that white people are evil, black people are oppressed, white people are evil. Maybe that doesn't have an effect on you, no matter your skin color, whether you're white or black, but you should know there is a violent black underclass, courtesy of the broken up black family, and when they hear those things, they act. And that's why this continues to happen over and over and over and over again. The media will coddle them, the Democrats will encourage them, and they will march out and they will murder some more. And now, let's move on past Democrats for just a moment, because we got to where we are now with this crime rampant, the get out of jail free card for every minority in the country. We got to where we are now in large part because of the George Floyd riots and protests. They were always working on this, as we just mentioned, clear back to the civil rights era. But once George Floyd died, American communists recognized it for what it was, a bad-looking video that created a wonderful opportunity for them to destroy police departments and set violent criminals free so they can go hurt people. They recognized the opportunity immediately. And I, and you, I'm sure you were there too, I recognized it immediately for what it was. The day George Floyd died, and I started to see what was happening in the media, in politics, it was very obvious that this was turning into a communist operation to destroy the United States of America. I recognized it. You recognized it. But the GOP did not. We elect these people in large part, because we want them to be a shield for us against the communism. But I want to remind you, we are where we are today because of the George Floyd protests. And when the George Floyd riots, when the cops are racist, when that narrative was being cemented into the minds of Americans across the country, the GOP participated.
Communities of color and people like myself, I've told my story several times, stopped 7 times in 1 year. That has been said a lot, but I was stopped this year driving while black when I got a warning ticket for failing to use my turn signal earlier in my lane change. And so this issue continues, and that's why it's so important for us to say that we hear you. We're listening to your concerns. The George Floyd incident certainly accelerated this conversation, and we find ourselves at a place with a package that I think speaks to the families that I spoke with yesterday who lost loved ones. We hear you. I think this package speaks very clearly to the young person who's concerned when he's stopped by the law enforcement officers. We see you.
The GOP, when the communist fires were raging, the GOP did not grab a water hose, they grabbed a gas can. John Cornyn, James Langford, United States senators from red states standing right beside Tim Scott, pushing that evil, dishonest filth. Let us remember what the GOP's role was in bringing us to where we are today. Now, the good news is we are starting to see some positive changes. Caroline Leavitt in the White House talked about that horrible murder.
Enough is enough, and that is why President Trump is doing everything in his power by taking action to undo these absurd policies. The president recently signed a powerful executive order directing the AG to submit a list of states and local jurisdictions with cashless bail policies so that the Trump administration may identify federal funds that are being provided to these states and can potentially be suspended or terminated. President Trump firmly believes that to maintain order in public safety, we must incarcerate individuals whose pending criminal charges or criminal history demonstrate a clear, ongoing risk to civil society. This is a common sense and sensible approach that the vast majority of Americans agree with, and it's time for the Democrat Party to get on board with what is right. Democrats in North Carolina and nationwide are consumed with pushing a woke, soft-on-crime agenda, no matter how many innocent Americans suffer as a result.
Okay. A lot of that was awesome. Credit to her, credit to the Trump administration. But if I may, it's not soft on crime. Stop saying that. They're not soft on crime. Not even a little bit soft on crime. They are not naive. They're not misguided. They intentionally put the most violent people in our society back into society because they want people murdered and raped and robbed. It is not soft on crime. Stop giving them that benefit. They have not earned it. They want people murdered because it destabilizes society. Every single communist revolution has done the exact same thing, set the criminals free, then put into place a legal system that ensures the criminals stay free during the revolution phase. Stop saying soft on crime. Look at this CNN panel, and I want you to understand something. As you watch this, I want you to understand every one of these dirty communists, they want your daughter raped.
He did actually serve time for the violent offenses that he committed.
But he was a career criminal, a repeat offender who was let back onto our streets despite a really bad criminal record that suggests he should have been locked away for life because he was threatening the public. He was a menace to society.
He should have been locked away for life for what now?
He should have schizophrenia.
You want him to?
You actually said that. I can't believe you actually said that
You
somebody
want
should be
to-
locked
he should-
away in jail forever for
How about
schizophrenia.
isolated?
Did you really say that?
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Is this actually?
For
I
life.
actually. This is
Institutionalized
Do you,
for
so
life.
what you're saying is that this man should have been roaming the
I'm
streets.
saying
Is
that
that
you
your
don't lock
position?
people in prison for schizophrenia.
And then he demonstrated violent proclivities
You
repeatedly.
said he should be locked away for
repeatedly.
life for schizophrenia.
He
That
should
is what
be
you said.
institutionalized. Yes, and if you're saying
All
he
right.
should not, you're saying that young women like you and me are basically just we're lambs into the slaughter. You go on public transportation in this city, that could happen to any single one of us.
I use public transit constantly. That is completely unhinged, frankly. People shouldn't be locked away for mental illness. They should be treated for it.
That young lady, she uses public transit. Anyone who lives in a big city now and uses public transit sees violent, dangerous people almost every single day, and she does too. But she is so committed in her heart to destroying this country that even if it means her own harm, she still wants the animals turned loose on you, your family, on your street, your wife, your son, your daughter, your husband. We are not dealing with soft on crime. And please, God, get it through your head. We are not dealing with naivete. They want the animals loose because they want them to hurt you. This helps their revolution. Did you hear this story out of New York? This endless kill whitey rhetoric, black people are oppressed rhetoric, gives you things like this.
The NYPD is searching for the suspect in a horrific double homicide, robbery, and arson. Here is what we know so far. Video obtained from the Belrose neighborhood of Queens on Monday at approximately 10 a.m. shows the suspect approach a home and speak to an occupant. Witnesses state that the suspect claimed that he needed assistance, that his phone battery was dead, and he was asking if he could enter the house to charge his phone. At this first house, the suspect is denied entry. He then proceeds on foot to a second house, the incident location. At that house, video shows the suspect interacting with the male victim, and it appears the suspect was allowed into the backyard. At approximately 10:18 a.m., the suspect and male victim are seen entering the rear door of the residence. The suspect is next seen on video exiting the house 5 hours later, about 14 minutes after the suspect was seen on video leaving the residence at around 3:22 p.m. The fire department responded to the location after being notified of a fire there by a member of the victim's family. Once the flames were under control, 2 victims were found deceased inside the home. Mr. Olton was found in the basement, tied to a pole, with multiple stab wounds. Mrs. Olton was found on the first floor, severely burned. McGriff has a lengthy, violent criminal history stretching back 30 years, including multiple robberies. He is currently out on parole.
Democrats set that animal loose on purpose. Remember that and plan accordingly. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.